Hello, and welcome back to my channel at Danny Be Knowing for another Psychic Code Case reading with your fave medium. And this case will be on the Mitrice Richardson case. It happened right here in California, in Malibu, and we're going to look into her disappearance, if there's foul play. I believe there is, and you'll see why as I read over an overview of just another case of a Black woman not being concerned about. And so I'm hoping with this psychic reading, as I'm pulling insight, I don't have specific questions. There's so much unanswered. There's so much just here that does not seem right. I want to do a full-on psychic reading to retrieve answers so at least her parents can get some answers in hopes that this case gets on the line of being solved. And so thank you again for joining me. I'm going to start with the overview and then we're going to jump into the reading, and I'll catch you there.
Mitrice Richardson, age 24, was known as naturally compassionate and rather busy, with 2 jobs as a store clerk and a dancer at an LGBTQ+ club, as well as an internship in her field of study, psychology. A lover of sunflowers and closest with her grandmother, Mitrice was a gifted and ambitious student with high hopes for her future and the determination to make them come true. That's why her family was deeply concerned when her behavior grew erratic shortly before she disappeared. Mitrice Richardson was arrested on September 17, 2009, after exhibiting erratic behavior at a restaurant where she was allegedly sat with a party of 7 she did not know and ordered a piece of Kobe beef that she then could not afford. The staff at Jeffrey's restaurant in Malibu, California, believed she was experiencing a mental health crisis and sought help for her. But Mitrice was instead taken into police custody for failing to pay her bill. Her car was impounded outside the restaurant, containing her phone, money, and keys. So when she was allegedly released from a Calabasas jail in the early morning, Mitrice had no safe way to get home or way to contact someone for help. The LA County Sheriff's Department claimed that, at the time of her release, Mitrice was not showing signs of intoxication or mental illness. She was seen in a stranger's backyard at 6:30 a.m. in Montanito, and the police were called, but she was never seen again. Mitrice's body was discovered in Malibu Canyon on August 9, 2010, about a year after she disappeared. Near her body was racially and sexually themed graffiti, which appeared fresh, along with paint cans and similar material. Adjacent to the creek bed where Mitrice's body was found is a ranch well known by law enforcement as a pornography production location. Locals claim to have heard screams in the area within the next few nights after Mitrice's disappearance. Mitrice's body was found naked and mummified, with her skull found separated from the rest of her body and her clothes scattered throughout the ravine. Despite the bizarre circumstances under which the body was discovered and its condition, Mitrice's case was never declared a homicide, and police have determined that foul play was not involved. Her family refuses to accept this as an answer. 13 years after Mitrice went missing and 12 years after her mummified remains were discovered, investigators are no closer to solving Mitrice's death. Mitrice's family sued the LA County Sheriff's Department for releasing Mitrice during a mental health episode. An investigation was originally rejected, but was eventually opened in 2016 to determine if the sheriff's office mishandled the investigation in any way. Mitrice's family is particularly concerned that her body was removed from the crime scene against the orders of the coroner by detectives who were working on the case. This runs counter to how investigations are normally conducted and demonstrates possible misconduct in handling of the case. The California Attorney General's office determined in late 2016 that there was not sufficient evidence to suggest that the Sheriff's Department conduct was criminal, and charges were never filed. Though Mitrice's relatives were rewarded $450,000 in 2011 for civil wrongful death charges, there is currently a $20,000 reward offered to anyone with information about Mitrice's death. Those with tips and information are encouraged to contact Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, TIPS.
Hello, hello, and thank you again for joining me for this reading on the Mitrice Richardson's case. So I hope you enjoyed the overview, and now we're going to jump in to get some answers. With this reading, since there's so much up in the air, I want to do a general reading to really get insight and oversight of what could have happened, but just to see if I can get some understanding. Because, let's see, dear benevolent honorable ancestors, spirit guides, family, ask for assistance and help as I do this reading on the Mitrice Richardson case. Can you please give me insight, answers? What happened once she was released from jail and had to roam on her own in Malibu? First of all, she was not in good shape physically from the outside to be released. They should have, once they seen she didn't have any contact info on her, they were wrong for releasing a woman who seemed to be having a mental episode, and that's what I'm seeing here. Her hair was a bit askew. She seemed a bit confused as to where she was. She even stumbled outside of the precinct. And they let her do that because they said she'll find a way. What's going to happen to her? They didn't really care. They didn't care. They didn't think past that, even with this being 2009. And what I'm seeing here is she did try to speak. She tried to say, my stuff, my things, and they're like, get out of here. Like, you have your stuff. You're free to go. You're free to go. You're free to go unless you want to be arrested again. You know, that type of animosity is what I'm seeing from the police towards her. A woman that's going through an episode and is essentially leaving your care and not in the best care. So really, you should be sued for that. It reminds me of when you're working at a arena. People are not allowed to leave games with alcohol because they get in the car with alcohol they bought from your establishment and they die. It is on you. That safety is on you. And that's how I see it with this. People that leave precincts are not mentally in a better position and also don't have a way home, don't have any access to get contacts, and something happens to them when they leave your precinct, it should fall on you. And unless there was foul play and harm, the person that did it, but it should fall on you as the establishment because isn't the tagline here protect and serve? How are you protecting and serving if someone going through a mental health episode left your precinct? And that's what I'm seeing here. It was a lot of men in that moment not caring. I do see a woman work at the front desk who probably said something like, oh, like, guys, she doesn't have anything to go. And they're like, oh, well, like, she'll find a way. And it just was not cared for. She asked for her parents. She asked, and I believe they weren't trying to hear her because her speaking could have been a bit incoherent, but we were really listening to her mom, dad, parents, is what she's saying, you know, trying to call home. And they just assumed she didn't really have anybody that cared for her. And that is where the issue lies in. Assuming people don't have a community, don't have people that care for them, and just not caring about that human being. Queen of Clubs. I'm seeing here that her walking, it looks like it was a really hot day. I'm seeing burns, like her skin could I feel like it was burning. There could have been marks on her skin that the coroner went over that could have been like burn marks from what I'm seeing here. Also, I'm getting the sense that she was a really strong woman. She's been through a lot. She's had a lot to her story, and I don't know if there was a recent breakup that happened, but I'm just seeing here there was a situation that seemed to be coming on over her. And needed a break. And unfortunately, as a Black woman, not giving grace for that. You can't look like as if you're losing it, as if you're not fully there, because you don't get that care. And Seven of Diamonds. So I'm seeing here is her stumbling. She came across people that were trying to help her, wanting to help, but she wasn't want to be touched. So basically, she was stumbling on her own for a bit. Walking through neighborhoods, people kind of just staring, not offering assistance. Her trying to stop some people. And what I'm seeing here is there was some people that stopped saying they wanted to help her, but it was a lie. So she got a ride. I'm seeing young white guys, like a truck of them. Like it's like a truck or car, but she's getting in to a car with some young white men. It's about three of them in the car. One has blondish hair, another one has brownish hair, and then I see black hair. One of them has, I think, pretty long shoulder length black hair. And on the wheel, I see a tattoo on the wrist. So not like this, but there's a tattoo on the wrist. Like when he turns his wheel, you can see parts of the tattoo. And again, she's asking, contact family, do something. We got this four of diamonds here. It's like they're telling them, you can come with us. Like our family can help you. We will have the money to assist. That's not going to take her. Um, it's like they pulled over and it's getting dark at this point. What I'm seeing here is like you can see over the side of the road and it falls deeply. Like if you're in California, like the canyons, then you know what I'm talking about. And so, pull over, trying to harm her, but she fought really hard and got out and ran. Ran until she got into another neighborhood and sorry, she just seemed so delirious, and it makes sense. Hungry, no money, fought for your life, and they found her again. This group of men, and now they're very angry. Um, she's crying. Just wants to go home, wants to be released. And I think before this happened, maybe they smoked together. But what I'm seeing here is there's this area. It looks like this. It looks like there's like handball courts. I call them handball courts. If you remember, like hitting the ball, handball, graffiti on it, grass patch, and her screams. And I can't see it. It's really graphic. I don't even think they did a rape kit on her as they should have. Yeah, this Eight of Spades. I believe that not all evidence was given to the parents, particularly of rape. It wasn't discussed with them because what I'm seeing here is it could have been different people, including most likely a cop. What I'm seeing here is It was a group of men that did harm her. And these young guys, they took her over there in the ravine area. And once they were done, they left her. Left her. And now I'm seeing there are other people that hang out around that area, and they used her body as like a museum, you know. I don't want to insert a joke here, but it's like, hey, you can see a dead body. The mummification, the head being removed, it really could have been removed whenever people were coming over, viewing her as a museum. In the case, they said there was fresh graffiti, racially and sexually. So, because Mitrice was a black woman, lost, and seen as someone uncared for, people took advantage. They took advantage. She wanted her home. She asked about her parents. She fought. She did. She really fought. And so, by the time she was found, police had already had reports of her description. They knew it was her and they didn't take it seriously. And when they did find her mummified and discarded, they didn't want to take responsibility. There was reported of screams that night, and no one came. Her description was reported of, appearing in people's backyards because, she was stumbling for a bit before she was found by another group of people. Can we get insight on the police in this case? I keep hearing, oh, damn it. There was anger, annoyance when they found her. They didn't expect, or like with this 10 of spades of being kept up, like her parents being on them. Once like the picture came about and they were told, oh, she had an episode, so we have to arrest her, all this stuff, they're like, why didn't you guys call anybody? Excuse me, police did not follow proper protocol from the beginning. And then this woman is found murdered, essentially raped and murdered. And because you don't want to take responsibility, there's anger, there's annoyance at this case, and there's annoyance with the parents being so on top of it, wanting to know what happened to their daughter, what happened to their baby girl. And what I do appreciate with the parents is, I'm not going to be the only one, sorry if I hit the mic, I'm not going to be the only one up at night, kept up about this. You all will be kept up. You all will feel it, because this is negligence on you. And it was clearly a homicide, a mummified body with the skull removed. She didn't get over there by herself. You need a type of car, you need a type of vehicle to get through down to that area that she's at. And with there being fresh graffiti paint and racially and sexually explicit images, that means that people hang out around there. You would think they would take that in consideration, stay around, because someone knew of this body. They may have not murdered her if that's the case, but they knew that there was a body there. Nobody reported it. It's because no one cared. They got reports about her description. They said, don't feel like arresting her again, whatever, leave her be. Knowing that her car was towed, knowing she'd have no contact home, no way of, and was in a mental health state. What is going on with the reporting when the parents tried to sue and say? There was pieces removed from the case. They It was a group effort of someone paying for this because they did not expect for, and this is just how racist and ignorant people are. They didn't expect for her to have people that want to ride for her, that want to ride it and say what happened and hold them accountable. Because honestly, Malibu police should be looked into. This is not the first case of something along the lines of this happening. Also, it's not just with Black women. So, with this group effort, there's someone here that is tied to it. Could be a family member with money. Someone that has emotional ties to make sure that this does not come out because how is it not a homicide? Also, there was information that's not given and paperwork like removed, but there wasn't much paperwork to be removed because there was negligence done on this case. So what I'm seeing here is she was murdered, she was harmed, and she should have been offered assistance of help. And no one cared to check in or look for her because it was assumed that she wasn't a desirable victim for them to care about. What I do see inside from this case is that there was a case of police negligence, and it was a murder, it was a homicide. And Mitrice is a fighter, and she fought, and she tried. And I really hope that this reading offers some insight and assistance. Okay. And I have a message for her parents. Tell my mom and dad I did nothing wrong. And Mama, if you still up for it, she'll really love for you to make that favorite meal of hers. But she the soul food. She really likes some soul food. And that pie that you're known for making, Mom. And that is it for this reading today. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope y'all have a great day.